with the help of suitable sketches, describe mountain genesis and mountain types, give suitable examples from various mountain systems of the world, and be mindful. 15 mark का question है. So one rule I'll set for all of you is कि अगर 10 mark है और 15 mark है, do not write more than 1.5 page. Maximum अगर करना है तो 2 page, but this will destroy your paper completion. 10-15 marks is approximately about 100 to 150 words. I will suggest write 120-130 words. Okay, and remember this, examination में कोई आपका word गिनने वाला है नहीं. Okay, nobody has a time, energy की बैठ के count करें how many words you have written. But we have a sense, broadly, एक पेज में आप 70-80 वर्ड लिख सकते हो. In one page, approximately 90 words लिख सकते हो. So 2 pages is approximately 180-200 pages. That's good enough for me. So what if you write 3 pages? You are penalizing yourself because the next question में आपके पास time नहीं रहा. If you write less, you can't write enough points. So उस range में आपको लिखना है. Okay, remember this rule. And any question which is about 20 marks, this can be about 2 to 2.5 pages. और अगर 30 marks का question है, we don't have anymore. पहले होता था 20 mark का, 30 mark का. This could go for approximately 3 pages. So एक thumb rule है, जितना marks है into 10 कर लो. So 200 word. जितना marks है into 10 कर लो. 100 words. 150 words. ठीक है? Approximately. So 200 words. It could be 180 words. It could be 230 words. That's good enough. So my technique is keep the page limit tight. In the examination, you may get 4 pages. Don't write 4 pages, please. You write what the time consumption, okay, is your limit. If you write slowly, then write even less words. आपका होना चाहिए कि 10-15 mark का question to be written in 7.5 to 8 minutes. 20 mark का question approximately 10 minutes. जहां ये cross किया आपने, you are in trouble. So your time and your page, this will be a better way of organizing your writing. No, the blank page है, so काट देना और क्या. I wrote, they gave me 4 pages, I wrote 2 pages, बाकी 2 pages, so काट दो, put one straight line and strike it off. The question क्या था आपका? Question was, with the help of suitable sketches, describe mountain genesis and mountain types. So what are the mountain types? We have volcanic mountains, we have block mountains, we have fold mountains, and we have escarpments. These look like mountains. In fact, block mountains are also one type of escarpment. Escarpments can be because of block mountain formation. It can be because of differential erosion. They can be exposed volcanic intrusions, and they also can be edge of a plateau. What are escarpments? Escarpments can be, I said block mountains be escarpments. Differential erosion. So imagine I have some surface, जिसमें कि these are the soft rocks, these are the soft rocks, these are the soft rocks. So when erosion happens, it's possible the soft rocks get eroded. So what I'm left with is this, because erosion हो गया, so this looks like a mountain, this looks like a mountain, and this looks like a mountain. Or imagine I have a river flowing here. Because of river, I can have a valley formation here, okay? Because of which this looks like a mountain now. So erosion can create mountain-like features. उसको हम बोलते हैं differential erosion. So we have Meghalaya plateau. यहाँ पर river चलती है, यहाँ river चलती है. Meghalaya plateau is here. This is Meghalaya plateau. Okay. So we have a river cutting here, river Kopili. We have a river cutting here, river Dhansiri. Okay. अलग-अलग rivers काट रहे हैं. Because of the river erosion, what has happened is these areas have got eroded. Can you imagine here? Okay, यहाँ पर river है, यहाँ पर river है, and this is the elevation. These elevations become the mountains. इसको नाम दिया गारो हिल्स, इसका नाम दिया आपने खासी हिल्स, इसका नाम दिया आपने जैंतिया हिल्स. This is what is called as differential erosion. So escarpments can be because of differential erosion. Escarpments can be exposed volcanic intrusions. Remember we talked about sills and dikes? Sometimes this is a dike. Ab erosion ho gaya. The dike has got exposed. This is an exposed feature here. As a dike bahar aa gaya. It looks like a mountain. So laccoliths can get exposed. Sills can get exposed. Okay. So exposed volcanic intrusions. Okay? And then I said they can also be edges of the plateau. So just explaining what I mean by escarpments. Now, आपको सबका genesis बताना है. Okay. So mountain types बताया मैंने. We have the volcanic mountains, we have the block mountains, we have the fold mountains, and we have escarpments. These are the types. Now, what is the genesis? Volcanism, mountain का genesis क्या है? 3 point है. The volcanism genesis that creates mountains, they can be accumulated felsic lava. They can be accumulating a cinder pyroclast. याद आ रहा है? They can be accumulating cinder pyroclast, or they can be accumulating basalt lava of the central vent type. ये भी mountain बनता है ना, Mauna Kea, Mauna Lua. If it is felsic lava, it is andesitic lava. They can become stratovolcanoes. याद आ रहा है? And these can become the cinder cones, many of which are in Africa. You can't write much. 15 mark का आंसर है. हर टाइप पे 1 या 2 पैराग्राफ. It's over. Don't go beyond 2 pages. So number 1 type of mountains are volcanic. So I was anticipating that most of you would stop at Himalayan type, Andean type of mountains. और आप बता देते genesis in terms of tectonics. But I say no. When you say type of mountain, आपको सब बताना पड़ेगा. The fold mountains will occupy the maximum place, but you can't ignore volcanic mountains. So volcanic mountains are mountains of accumulations. Accumulating what? Accumulating felsic andesitic lava, accumulating cinder, pyroclast, accumulating basalt at the central vent type. Because fissure type hoga to kya ban jayega? They'll become plateaus. Can we have examples of these? Central vent type basalt kya hai? Mauna Kea mountain, Mauna Lua mountain, Kilauea mountain. हो रहा है आपका? Mauritius, वो भी एक type का mountain ही है. Felsic andesitic accumulations are composite cones. Examples are the whole range of them. Kilimanjaro, Mount Fuji, Chimborazo, Cotopaxi, ये सारा आ जाएगा. And what are cinder cones? Now, इसका नाम we don't have. Why? Because they're not very large. Just remember this. The cinder cones are more common along the African Rift Valley. There are numerous of them, and they are common along the African Rift Valley. Though we also have some cinder cones in the Hawaiian Islands also. We also have some cinder cones in the Hawaiian Islands also. ये सारा लिखना होगा in 2 paragraphs. You are done, or maximum 1 paragraph, minimum. Block mountains. Block mountains because of fracture and relative vertical movements of blocks. Because of fracture, rifting, and vertical movement of the blocks. Block mountains also called as host, H-O-R-S-T. They're also called as host, H-O-R-S-T. अब genesis बताएंगे आप. Genesis क्या है? The genesis is block mountains are associated with compressive or tensile forces. Okay, compressive forces, you will have reverse faults with block mountains, and tensile will have normal faults with block mountains. Can you draw the diagram of both? ये कैसा fault है? ये कैसा fault है? ये कैसा fault है? This is reverse fault. This is normal fault. ये जो लाइन है ना, ये लाइन है, ये लाइन, दिस लाइन, इस लाइन के जो ओके इमेजिन ये इनिशियल ब्लॉक है, इनिशियल ब्लॉक, उसका पार्ट ए एंड पार्ट बी, कौन सा ऊपर है कौन सा नीचे है, इसमें कौन सा ऊपर कौन सा नीचे है, विच इज ऊपर, विच इज अबव बी, विच इज बिलो ए। जो ऊपर है इसको बोलते हैं हैंगिंग वॉल, जो बिलो है इसको बोलते हैं फुट वॉल, ठीक है। सो एक्स वाई एल एम, इसमें कौन सा हैंगिंग वॉल है, यू ब्रिंग इट बैक इन पोजिशन एंड देन टेल मी कौन सा हैंगिंग वॉल है, कौन सा ऊपर है, एक्स ऊपर है, एक्स इज हैंगिंग वॉल। इसमें कौन सा हैंगिंग वॉल है, एल और एम, विच इज हैंगिंग वॉल, अगेन ब्रिंग इट बैक एंड टेल मी एम इज हैंगिंग वॉल। Whenever hanging wall goes down, it is always a normal fault. When the hanging wall goes up, it's called as reverse fault. याद रहेगा reverse fault क्या होता है, the hanging wall is displaced above. In normal fault, hanging wall is displaced below. So block mountains can be reverse fault block mountains, they can also be okay normal fault block mountains. Genesis, reverse fault block mountains always because of compressive forces, and this because of tensile forces. Acha, examples mein we do not have too many of these, most of them are these. The examples आप बताने बोल रहे हैं ना, तो examples में we have mostly the normal fault block mountains. तो इसमें कौन सा बनेगा होस्ट, एल और एम, which will be the host, L, M becomes what, graben, it becomes the valley. So in block mountains the genesis will be compressive fault block mountains or tensile fault block mountains. The compressive fault block mountains, they're associated with reverse faults. The tensile fault block mountains are the normal fault. The normal faults are more common. And write 3-4 examples. Examples are Sierra Nevada. Examples is Harz Mountains. Examples is Vosges. Examples Western Ghats. The Western Ghats. ठीक है? Yes, even Satpuras भी हैं. But ये थोड़ा tricky होगा, but ठीक है. Examples of Sierra Nevada is in Andes, Harz Mountains is northern Germany, Vosges is France, the extensions of the Black Forest of Germany. Western Ghats and Satpuras are in India. So what are the type of fold mountains, their genesis and their example? Now come to fold mountains. Fold mountains. So fold mountains mostly of two types. Okay, what are they? The Andean type and the Himalayan type. Andean type, OC collisions along with the trenches. Himalayan type at CC collisions. And give examples of each. The Andean type also called as the Cordillera types. And escarpments. बता दिया मैंने आपको. Escarpments can be, I said, block mountains. बता दिया. They can be because of differential erosion. Okay, the rivers have cut hard rocks, soft rocks. So if you know, desert landscape mein is something called as yardangs. There are zeugens. All of these are examples of differential erosion. Zeugens. We have this examples of mountain slopes as mountains because of a river erosion. Mountain slopes as mountains because of river erosion. Next, the edge of the plateau. So Western Ghats is example of the edge of the plateau. छोटा नागपुर plateau में कौन सा edge है? Rajmahal Hills, Garjat Hills. Garjat Hills southern छोटा नागपुर plateau है, ओडिशा का boundary है. Rajmahal Hills east में है. At the world level, have I mentioned Altai Mountains? Altai Mountains are edge of the Mongolian plateau. Altai, A-L-T-A-I. Altai Mountains are edge of the Mongolian plateau. Stratovolcanoes, okay, center dome, block mountains बना लेंगे अब आप लोग. fold mountains, OC type, CC type. Okay, you can show the diagram of different erosion, whatever you can. Yardangs, these are vertical bands of hard and soft rock. This is the hard rock, this is the soft rock. This is the hard rock, ये है soft rock. Hard rock, soft rock. इसको बोलते हैं yardang. The soft rock has eroded. The hard rocks remain as mountains. इस क्वेश्चन में आप कंक्लूजन क्या लिखोगे? The general rule of conclusion होता है 2-3. Number 1, you can have an applied aspect. कि भाई जो डिस्कस कर रहे हैं उसका इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है? Applied, mining, resources, maybe something about water management. एक applied aspect होगा. और एक aspect होगा which is more conceptual about understanding of concepts maybe. और एक third type होगा if you can relate it to some programs. ये ज्यादा काम आता है एग्रीकल्चर में, इंडस्ट्रीज, मॉनसून्स, वहां काम आ जाएगा आपका, प्लानिंग वगैरह में काम आती है. सो इस क्वेश्चन में आप क्या लिखना चाहोगे? यू टेल मी. हाउ विल यू एंड द आंसर फॉर अ सेंस ऑफ होलिस्टिक कवरेज? आई एग्री, ऐसे क्वेश्चन में कंसेप्चुअल इज बेटर कंक्लूजन, बट आई कैन डू अदरवाइज ऑल्सो. सिंपल थिंग लाइक mountains are one of the important, therefore mountains are one of the important diversity of the landscape on the earth's surface. Understanding mountains is understanding of different processes of how the earth has been shaped, how the crust has formed. Mountains, like fold mountains, they're insights to origin of the earth's crust itself. That's it. Okay, the diversity of mountains in India tells us India has a very diverse geological history, because of which India has block mountains and fold mountains and escarpments. Conclusion and introductions को हमेशा रखना, pinpointed रखना. Don't spread too much and not more than 2 or 3 lines. अगर ऐसे है 1000 word का, the introduction could be 100 words. पर पूरा आंसर आपका 150 word का है. So your conclusion or introduction cannot be more than 40-50 words. खत्म करो उसमें, बहुत ज्यादा है 40-50 words, और 50% of the answer हो गया ना आपका. And go straight toward the topic. Sir, इस आंसर का intro क्या होगा? Straight away, mountains are important features and they are of different types. Start off there itself. Because अगर 100 word का आंसर है, you can't afford 40-50 marks of introduction alone. आप लिखोगे, आप समझ पाओगे, 40 words का मतलब एक पैराग्राफ बन जाता है invariably. You can do both. Generally, I recommend, now this is a format I tell everybody, geography में at least, even in GS if you want, have an introduction, have a diagram, then your body under various heads, then you have a conclusion. So introduction, straight away. Mountains are important features of the earth's surface. They can be, to add a bit more of conceptual touch, they can be second order or third order mountains or landforms. पता है आपको what is second order mountains? Because of internal forces. What are third order landforms? Because of denudation. So differential mountains are third order. Block mountains are second order. Fold mountains are, volcanic mountains are. So mountains are an important diversity of the earth's surface. They can be both second order and third order features, like as summarized below. ये diagram में, one good diagram could be a schematic. So types of mountains: volcanic, block, fold, escarpments. So आपका पूरा answer का summary यहाँ दिख जाएगा. And you probably can mention one example here, one example here, one example here, one example here. That's your diagram. Diagram is anything which is not a regular paragraph. And I can make this very interesting also. Like, ये तो एक हो गया. Look at my interesting way of drawing this. Mountains as second and third order. Volcanic mountains, fold mountains, escarpments, block mountains. Example, 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 example. ठीक है? Examiner को पटाना है. As simple as that. You have to impress him. You have to have the presence of mind. What looks nice? So use your imagination, your creativity. ये भी right है, but this has a different impact. you yourself understand what I mean by this. I can make it, look at this, I can do this also. This is also my schematic. So fold mountain, block mount volcanism, best explained by tectonics and internal forces. They are second order types. Example, fold, one example done. So this diagram is a snapshot of my entire answer. You have to create this. Okay? So of the three, what would you find most impressive? The first one, second one, third one. And why encourage this is, ab dekho, iska advantage kya hota hai? When I run short of time, okay, I can afford to miss one or two and conclude. The examiner knows, यार tension में है, लिख रहा था, इतना प्यारा बनाया है, सब तो cover कर ही दिया यहाँ पर यार. He'll give you something. Trust me, they give you. So when you are short of time, I can always mention. And there are escarpments also as discussed in the diagram above. ये लिख दो escarpments का 2-3 example डाल के छोड़ दो. Fine. So there are different ways you can do this. But your diagram, अच्छा, why I insist कि diagrams को second रखो why? Number one is diagrams के marks होते हैं. Geography, history, physics. History, physics are hardcore science. Biology, hardcore science. Geography थोड़ा सा overlap areas हैं. Economy, graphs जरूरत है, tables जरूरत है. They are not essays like, okay, philosophical write-up. So without diagrams, you lose marks. If you keep the diagram for drawing later, यकीन मानो आप कभी बना नहीं पाओगे. Because exam pressure में, always the urge is, यार 2 लाइन लिख लेते हैं, diagram बना लेंगे. आप कभी नहीं बनाओगे. So I'm forcing you 2 lines introduction, सीधा diagram पे आओ. And diagram ऐसे snapshot बन रहा है आपका. So अगर time नहीं भी होगा ना, you can say as discussed above. Finish it off. So अच्छा, जो बाकी diagrams हैं, that you can draw while you're writing. Block mountain बताया, 2 lines में block बता दिया. Volcanic mountains were writing and one small diagram of what a stratovolcano looks like. Those are different diagrams. But this is one like a answer का representative diagram. It's almost like a summary of आपका क्या-क्या answer होगा. Under body, under various heads. Various heads are, number 1, block mountain. Number 2 is a fold mountain. लिखो इसके अंदर में. Number 3 is volcanic mountain. So under the body, you have got various heads. You do elaborate. And the conclusion is, there's great diversity. It's about the Earth's history and the process involved. India also has great diversity. It tells us about the complex geological history India has gone through. And these mountains are associated with maybe resource or whatever you know there.